And that's, you know, a lot of what's going on right now. I don't know how many of you are aware of the rules tour that went around the state here over the last, well, since the beginning of the session. Basically, there's an Administration and Rules Review Committee, which it's a portion between Democrats and Republicans and between the Senate and the House. And they're supposed to be able to review any rule that any State Department brings about, whether DNR or Department of Education or whomever. And they basically sat on their hands for the last 4, maybe longer years. Any rule that anybody came up with, they were fine with. When the Republicans took control of the House this year, there were several members on Administration and Rules Review Committee that said this has got to stop and we've got to find out what these rules are doing to some of our businesses and some of our farmers and so on. And so they got an earful as they went around the state and had these listening posts. And there will be some actions forthcoming on some of that. I mean, we just talked about the DNR, especially with livestock operations, that they just keep moving the goal line. You can never keep up with it. Once you think you are in compliance, they change the rules, move the goal line another 50 yards down the field. We're so dependent on agriculture here, and our agriculture producers being able to be competitive on a world basis. And so hopefully we can reel some of that back in and start to get a little more common sense involved.
I think that's one of the good things that Governor Branstad is putting into his process is anytime there's a rule passed, it has to come with an analysis of what it will do to the economy and what it will do to job creation in the state. Some of you may have heard of the rice rule that he just rescinded in the state of Iowa. It was requiring municipal utilities who have diesel powered backup, and they were going to be required to spend hundreds of millions of dollars on pollution control on that equipment, even though it might run a day or two a year just as a backup situation. He rescinded that, and we're preparing a resolution, and I believe the House will join in with that to send to our federal counterparts saying, you know, let's back off of some of this stuff and what it means. But he did rescind that by executive order. This rules and regulations may be the biggest change in this governorship from the last one. So I think it's important that we reopen Iowa for business. Basically, we've had the doors closed to business. We've had companies who have said, I will not expand in Iowa, especially up in the Sioux City area, who said, I will go to either South Dakota or Nebraska. We had companies who were considering coming into Muscatine and that area down there, found out what our Department of Natural Resources would require in regulations for air quality over and above EPA standards. They chose to go, I believe it was Alabama, rather than open business here in Iowa. So I think one of the things we can do is open Iowa for business, keep the rules and regulations that make sense, and get rid of those that are just job killing. So I guess it's a little after 11, so we'll wrap it up, and I'll stick around. If you've got questions, I'd be happy to visit with you. I appreciate you coming and appreciate your interest, and for the 4-H clubs, I appreciate your enthusiasm. Thanks.
I suppose we can get that.
Sure.